We've been told time and time again to grow a channel like this and to grow it fast, we need one single face, only one person. We don't want to confuse people. You've been told it, we've been told it, and it feels like every YouTube guru and coach is telling me the same thing. But we just made our biggest content gamble to try and prove it wrong. We're taking the team approach. Yo Goose, when you edit this, make it sound epic. What happens if you get stuck making content all day? Chances are if you're watching this, you probably run a business. So who's running the business if you're making TikTok? So we're getting the crew together to show you exactly why we're betting against the one channel, one face strategy, and why the team approach to making a YouTube channel could be the way of the future. I'm just gonna say it, but I'll leave whether that works for your business or not, up to you. Guys, we've been talking to a lot of different consultants. We're looking for a lot of different ways to create content and trying to find the optimum way to make content. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I keep seeing this one face strategy, the idea that every channel is one person, one key person of influence. Why do we think that's the default on YouTube?
I think what happens is things work and then people replicate. It becomes a belief. And the problem with beliefs is like, if it's not your own belief and it's someone else's belief, you're in trouble. It's not really something you can really anchor on. And I think that's what happens. And things are reinforced, right? Like you can only have one man. Cool. So then the next person does it. And then what it does is it shows those people become successful. What about all the people that didn't become successful? Don't worry about them. But the ones you see at the top, they all followed that process. So that must be the only way. But there are so many other ones and examples if you just start looking.
100%. And do you think there's something to do with like, it's just easy to remember one person's face? It's like a single brand. Like I keep thinking that I remember solo creators more, but I fall in love with the groups of people. So is it really just the fact that, oh, we've seen it work before and it's just going to keep working?
I think it's like it started as YouTube. It was about you, one person, and it wasn't about business representation. It doesn't make sense for a business to have one person do it. I think it would help to grow if there's one person and one topic, because YouTube knows that a person is more likely to enjoy the video. There's obviously risks to introducing more people. There's some people won't like that, then that video doesn't perform well, etc. But you can't run a business channel like that and expect that person to always be there, because like what happens when they're not? Then you have to make a whole bunch of changes and it's even less familiar to the audience. But I think there's heaps of examples of people breaking the mold like it, like Corridor Crew. There's LTT does it. They sometimes have completely different hosts and they've slowly over time made the audience very familiar with it, and you can do it. Almost all of the advice from coaches, etc., is trying to get the most optimized path with the least resources. Not many people starting a YouTube channel have the resources to say like, we can afford to not perform at the absolute maximum optimization for the long term of the channel, to say over the long term it's going to be better for the channel to have multi-host. Almost every guidance is going to tell you that like the fastest way to grow is probably with one person. It doesn't mean it's the best idea for everyone's businesses.
I'm also going to push on that because I reckon the coaches that coach in general have worked with solo. So that's what they do in general. Like the people as I want to be a YouTuber. They don't even look at the overall strategy. It's very rare to find a coach that's like, I'm going to show you across every platform. How do you do this across every platform? How do you get the most eyeballs? Because being good on YouTube's great. It's a good funnel. There's more to it. Okay, what about IGN? Right? That's a brand. You watch the video and there's a different voiceover every time, and they used to have different hosts because it's a brand. I like IGN. It's what are you building? I'm going to say we're flipping it. We're betting on the something different. Some people say it could be a harder route, but I also believe like that's how you build a brand for a business, because a business is more than one person. And we've seen this get wrecked, like when someone leaves so many times. I think there's so many examples of big channels that have done it and they've built it on their brand, and it's just like, cool, well, we don't have one host, because in the end of the day, you want the content.
And the community that's built around that content, not necessarily just the one person. So you're kind of answering my question. So I had here, is it a creative decision or a business decision? Obviously, it's a business decision. And that seems to be why most people don't do it when they first start a channel. It's like, well, I can just film. There's also a speed to spool something up, right? Like if you wanted to start a YouTube channel, well, it's just you. Not many people are going in with that idea of, we're going to spend the next 5 years, 10 years on this, and we want to build something, a community around an idea rather than around a person. So for us, this kind of comes back to the idea of key man risk. Can one of you guys explain what is key man risk in a business sense?
Like they've got a business like, hey, Zach, can you come make content for us and be our man? Now you've introduced key man risk. What is key man risk? Key man risk is basically, it's a term in business, and it's where someone is so crucial to that part of the business. If they left, it's a risk to the business as a whole. That happens in the beginning because you're a founder. You have all the knowledge, you have all the drive. But as you grow, you want to put people in place that reduce key man risk. So at the pinnacle of business, there is no key man risk as a founder because you can be detached and all your team underneath you will continue working. You have redundancies built in for people. So you have no one person that if they left, it would create a fundamental shock to the business as a whole. Let's say if you took away your head of content, gone, that's a massive marketing. And if all your marketing was through YouTube, you've just created a massive problem. So by reducing key man risk, how do you do that? In general, you would have either redundancies in play. A lot of time you can buy people in. So you could offer ownership of a company. So you reduce the chance of them leaving. So you can do that. So they own part of the company. You definitely want to spread roles across. So it's like, like for us, just a simple example of key man risk is like you have multi-editor. So if one person goes, you still keep editing. You don't just the whole thing comes grinding to a halt. And you've got to see these things early on. And sometimes you actually have to overinvest to prevent it. But when someone comes in externally, and like in the end of the day, business is about making money, right? So they want to come in and go like, well, when I remove you, because you're going to sell, you're going to be disincentivized now, you're rich, you don't care anymore, you've lost all your drive. Does this thing continue moving? The lower the key man risk, the more value the business is, because a business needs to be its own entity, its own vehicle that can operate without people, can operate as a whole because there's systems and processes in place.
It sounds like what you're talking about is time horizon, where it's like if you're a solo creator, your time horizon is right now. I need to upload this right now, get this up and get attention and traction straight away. Whereas a business, hopefully you have a little bit more time horizon where you're planning ahead and you can go, cool, over the next 4 years, how does this thing stay sustainable? How does it continue to work? It's not just about growing it and then letting it go or starting a product. It's a completely different business model, I guess.
I think that's the key. It's a business versus a job. That's the thing. When you are a key man to your business, you have to rock up every day to do the job. You don't have a business. You just have a job.
You're employed.
It's probably low paid as an owner and very stressful.
That's the theory around it. And I guess why we're approaching this as, hey, we want to not have a single person, which even for me as like creating content and me loving that part of the process, I love that I'm not just a guy because it adds so many different angles, so much more value to the brand to have a team of people. And some of my favorite YouTube channels are teams of people. I have a theory we're going to see that more as more channels start with backing. We talked on Clipflow Crew, by the way, go subscribe to Clipflow Crew, where we just chat and talk about all different bits of news, a channel called Wisecrack, and their key man, well, the channel was ended essentially, and he left, but it left badly, and that whole channel now is gone. Where if that was a group of people, there could have been a chance that, hey, we could sustain it or just cut it down. It's just a different approach, right? And they are a business, so potentially they could have thought about key man risk a little more. So if that's all the theory, then what do you think makes a good team channel? What for you guys would make you feel stoked about what we're building? What would be a sick channel for you guys?
For us, the goal of the channel is to show a lot about what our business is so that people trust us and want to believe that basically the software can do what we know really well. And the software is it's a trust component of that. So for me, what makes a strong team channel for us is going to be representation across many areas of the business. Because I think there's a lot of team channels out there that they're still a creator business. So they're all hosts or participants in hosting, reviewing, etc. But they're not necessarily showing different components of another business. So for us personally, it makes sense to show us, both me, Ken, you, and other people who come into the business in various components of the business so that people understand we can be trusted to handle the software side of things because we know what we're doing because of all these things. What makes a good team channel in general is probably charisma, proximity. One of the problems I think a lot of people would have starting a YouTube channel that wasn't a business is it's hard enough to find a business founder for a YouTube channel or any content effort to work. You need to be thinking 5 years into the future, and you cannot rely on just picking I just spoke to my mate and he said we're going to start a YouTube channel, and then 3 months later it's over. One person takes the reins from there. You need longevity in these things. So a good team has to be either easily swap outable, because we're not doing this because we think Zach's ever going to leave. We're doing it because we think Zach might be too busy doing other things to always be doing a weekly video. You have to be ready for those changes. Our team thing is either they're easily swappable or they represent the whole business really well.
I think it's just the chemistry between the people. Is it interesting to watch? Is it fun? You care about what these people say. We're trying to build a culture. For us, having a team also shows this is who we are. This is how we work. Do you want to be part of that? Would you fit in this? We're proving our culture by just doing it live and sharing with everyone else. Because you can say, our culture's great. Is it? I don't know.
We are a fast-paced team
Yeah.
We
And like,
treat each other like family.
yeah, we are family. Don't avoid that one. I mean, I've said that in the past, look, and it wasn't very wrong. We were pretty much all family.
Yeah.
So-
Literally, the same last name across 6 people.
yeah. Had a Daryl grief. So we want to be able to implement. And I think that's something we're doing quite well this time around. Is like, I already feel like I can step away from the business for a week and it's going to just keep moving. In the early days of my first business, I did not feel like that. Things
Even
were
in
gonna
the
go-
late days, pretty much any of the days.
Yeah.
There wasn't many weeks you could step away. I think a good team for us, if I was to like model what a good team will look like, is everyone is very similar to us in energy. You want everyone to match. You want everyone to have the company vibe, I guess, is what I would say. Like, I'll have anyone else host on this channel as long as they can talk effectively about educating people how to do business / content really well at high output, just like we're doing. And that's sort of the benchmark. And I don't really care who is in the team as long as they can communicate the same thing in a really effective way. Be that through being really intelligent, being really entertaining, whatever it is, as long as everyone's just on the same path. I don't think it really matters. It will alienate some people if they're expecting a me video or a you video or a you video and like they get served the next one, they're like, I'm not going to click that. But to be honest, they probably weren't going to click it anyway. And I think YouTube's getting really, really good at that, which maybe it wasn't so good at in the past. Like, it used to be a newer creator couldn't be seen at all. But these days, if you click one video about some trending drama, all of a sudden these creators with 100 subs who are talking about the same thing is showing up, and like the topics getting served up are much better. Someone who interacts more with your videos will get served more impressions on the homepage of your videos and not mine. And that's cool because the channel can like live separately. I don't think the data supports any of that information yet though. So we'll see.
It's the TikTok algorithm. It's what it is. It's like every content piece stands on its own.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. I think for viewer satisfaction, because if that's the goal of the platform, which it is, they've communicated that many times, every platform says the same thing. They're all trying to get to that algorithm. It's like, you wanted that. How do I give you more now? I don't care if you never interacted or if that channel's like got 100 views. If that piece of content is going to hit with you right now in the mood that you are right now, and you're going to keep watching, I'm getting money. Because they just want to play you those ads, boys. They just want to keep sending you ads. And if they can keep you there as long as possible, 4-hour doom scrolling, great. Algorithm's going to get better and better and better and better until that is the thing. And then all of a sudden, guess what? Doesn't matter. If your content's good, people are going to watch it and YouTube's going to serve it. So I think a lot of stuff happened is like, think about people teaching. It takes longer for that to catch up than what actually happening right now. We see that in any kind of course, because by the time you write the course and all your knowledge and your beliefs and blah, blah, it's already changed. And then it's like,
I think for me, I always like to try and find a way practically for someone, obviously specifically someone in a business who's trying to make content and they're aware of all this stuff, and try and find a practical way to outwork that. For me, the biggest thing that I realize is how good this format is, where it is literally just discussion and opening the floor. And yes, it might be a bit more refined. It might be a bit more produced, but generally we've found that this is a great way to have all of our three personalities come together and talk about one topic. And so what we're talking about is it's a topic-based algorithm, but we can deliver value to three of us at one time. And so we're going to keep testing this. Obviously, it might change, but I love the fact that podcasting has opened a door for this to be way easier to do, where it's like we can sit down and bring all of our different angles to one thing. And that, in some sense, actually opens up a wider audience that might resonate. Someone might watch and be like, actually, Daryl's right about that, or Ken's right about that, or Zach's wrong about that.
We like to listen to other people's opinions, and they can't all be exactly the same. And that's why podcasts, I think, have blown up. Single person podcasts, they'll start and do okay, but then you introduce a second and you've got this different dynamic, because now you've got could have two different opinions. And like, we like to just sit there and like, let's tell me, I want to sit on what's going on. Like, look at Joe Rogan. Like, it's not just him. He's like, yeah. And then it creates another thing like, okay, this is going to be more interesting. I think it's one of those things that's growing. Podcasts are still growing. I think doing this style is great. You can also ship the audio only, so you can actually go further. So yeah, I'm all in on the multi-presenter.
I guess my last thought is around all of this stuff is that what it does by having multiple presenters, multiple hosts, multiple key people of influence is that you really do have to think about, and we talk about this a lot internally, whether it's planned chats or not, we're just talking about it, is like, what is the vibe? What makes up our brand at Clipflow? Because that's where you could insert someone, and as long as they understand all of those aspects that make up what we're doing, it's going to feel quite similar. Obviously, we all believe, I mean, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, we all believe that we all present the values of what we're trying to do at Clipflow, and that's changing. And so that would probably be one of my suggestions, and I'm keen to hear what suggestions you guys might have specifically for business people or people who want to use content to can, I guess, sell with a group, you know, my suggestion would be just get real clear on what those branding elements are. Like, what is the approach? What's the angle? Spend time understanding how the edit's going to come together. Because once it's there, that becomes your unique thing. This is right now our unique thing as a team. So is there anything else you guys feel like, if someone was going to start this, what would you do again? If you want to do this again, what would you do?
I would start making videos straight away, because I think one of the easiest ways that, like, we didn't have to tell you what our vibe was when you started, Zach. You'd watched a couple of our videos and you saw it. Our videos were terrible, and we started when they were terrible, and we did. They were inferior to what they are now, I should say. Anyway, we did that from the start, and this is for like finding the right people in your team and downloading the vibe, is like, just start doing it straight away, because some people are going to resonate with different people, and you just won't attract the people that don't resonate with the vibe. And then you don't have to do as much education because people just see it. And it sucks to put it out there when you're like, this could be way better, but it's just like, it's such an easy way of people seeing, do I want to work with those people? Can I host on their channel? Like, if you don't have anything ever on a channel, there would have been nothing to base it off. But now anyone who joins in, if we're like, we want you to host one of the Clipflow videos, go watch 5 of the videos, they'll know exactly what they have to do. They have to be helpful. They have to be straight to the point, not too flat, like whatever it is, they'll get it just by watching. It's one of the fastest ways to download any of that information to people.
100%. What you're doing is you're showing the culture. You're not talking about it. You're not saying like, we are this. You're like, this is what we are. This is how we behave. And we behave like this on camera, and we behave like this off camera. And I think it's really key as a business. I think it's very important to have someone, which is probably you as the owner or founder in the early days, being or representing your company, because you are the visionary. You know everything that you want to do in your head. Until you've been able to communicate that out to a bigger and a wider team, I think you need to do it. And you can bring in someone else in your team if you want to do a podcast style. If you just want to talk about your, product, what you're doing, I think just getting the reps in, right? It's like anything.
Yeah.
You get better and better at doing this stuff. And then you can come and look back and like, the whole goal is to look back at what you did in the past and cringe at it. That is the whole point. That is the journey of anything. It's like becoming better at what you do. So we cringe at our first product. We cringe at our first sales meeting. We cringe at that's just life. And that's the great part. If you don't cringe at it, that means you're not getting better. And that is what we're trying to do here. And I think we use this as we're a video or content first platform. We really believe in content. We want to get better at content. We want to be very, very good, because I know what being the best means. Being the best
want to
means
be the best.
Give up everything for that, which I don't want to do, but I want to be very good at it. I want to know those things. And then that's how you learn. And then that's how you can take stuff from here. Content will help you also take it into different pieces of business, because you might get comments. You might get people that join or follow you. You might get good talent. There's so many opportunities in content. But I think you have to be involved in the beginning as a founder.
Epic. Unreal. There's so much there. Perfect, boys.